way, right? It regulates hormones, regulates cortisol levels, which is this stress part of ourselves. Because when our body is being attacked and we have stress in our life, the body starts to compensate by raising cortisol levels.
Right.
When you raise cortisol levels, it's going to affect your sleep and other areas of your life, right? So over time, though, the cortisol will help you, but over time, the immune system will be depressed. And this is when health challenges start to happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that active ingredient is a miracle.
Excellent.
Yes.
When you mentioned depression, it reminded me of my son who has a brain injury. And the hypothalamus was mainly affected by this brain injury. And so it affects his short-term memory. It sometimes affects how he processes things. And he's definitely clinically depressed, seriously depressed. Do you feel that this is potentially something that could help him with that?
Well, here's the thing. If you look at the research, of course, right? You look at the depression research, I can give you thousands of stories now of people getting on the product and then been depressed for 30 years,
Mm-hmm.
and how they've changed, right?
What if he
I'll give you a great example. In last December, I was on a line with a guy in Denmark. Within 2 minutes, he told me while I was speaking to him that he wanted to kill himself.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm thinking, should I call 911? Should I get someone over to his place, right?
Mm-hmm.
And 20 years ago, he had a major car accident, all these health challenges, including brain injuries, and he's been depressed for 20 years, never went outdoors, and he's been struggling with suicidal thoughts for all these years, right? No matter how much medication they put him on, it started to, his mind started going into that dark place, right?
Right.
We got him on the product. 3 days later, he emails me, says, Joe, my PTSD is gone. I haven't felt this way in 20 years.
Oh my gosh.
3 days later.
Wow.
Yes.
Holy cow.
So obviously everyone has different type of experiences, but it changed his life. It changed his life. And now he's got like 15 other health challenges that the products helped him with, from blood pressure, to all that, right? Here's the thing why I know I've actually, in terms of brain injuries, I was watching a video this morning by Dr. Carolyn Leaf. And she is a brain scientist, okay? And she's one of the foremost researchers on how the brain works. Okay. And she was saying in that video that 30 years or 30 years ago, when she was starting her research, she was told by her colleagues that she was crazy, because it was known 30 years ago, or believed, that the brain does not repair itself. And since then, she has proven that the brain can repair itself. Yes, neuroplasticity.
Wow.
Yes. So anyways, I'm getting off topic, but
keep going. It's fascinating.
I could send you that.
Excuse me. Yes, it is.
She's actually proven. He's actually proven now that that disease, 75% to 98% of disease starts from our thoughts.
That doesn't surprise me.
Mm-hmm. And this is an area that I've studied in research and I train on. And she basically has, what happens is when we have a negative thought, right, that, that permeates and that we focus on 5 days, 10 days, 20 days, it becomes all encompassing, is the brain now starts to create neural pathways. And they actually have brain imaging software now that they can see it. That
I've seen that.
It starts to expand like dead trees. And once it starts to expand like dead trees, it's like a wasteland. And this is where the toxicity environment, the body starts to compensate for it. But the mind, now, when someone's focused on that, this is when depression starts to come in. So she's now proving that mental illness is a fad, that there's no such thing as mental illness. It's only because of people's thoughts that create that toxic environment. And when you get into that toxic environment, that toxic environment gets so bad that the neural pathways create that, what we call mental illness, right? So even with schizophrenia, she's actually shown brain imagery of what people have been classified as schizophrenia and what has happened because of their thought processes and they got to that toxic environment, right? So the same thing happens with disease. When you allow your body, your mind to get into that dark place, the body raises its cortisol levels, the whole immune system is off, and the cells stop communicating, and now disease starts to enter into your life, right? So it's quite fascinating. Whereas before, they were thinking that environment played a huge role in disease. And now she says that it's only about 25%, up to 25%. Is your environment, DNA, and your legacy, you know? Yeah.
This just intrigues me. I love it.
So going back to the StemRenu, that is the research, that's the history of it and what's happening. So I would recommend you get on the product for at least 3 months. Mm-hmm. Get yourself up to a dosage of up to 6 eventually. Combine it with a couple of our other products, and you're going to get some amazing things happen. So you're saying you have a degeneration of your back?
Of my cervical spine, my neck.
Yeah. So I have a friend of mine who's a leader in our business. His name is Kaya. He sent me x-rays. A year ago when I was in Sweden, he could barely stand up. Mm-hmm. Because a few months prior to that, he was in Egypt, and he had deep massage, and they did something to his back. He went back, and they took x-rays, and they ruptured his spleen, and they ruptured his disc. So his whole spine was crooked at the bottom. So he started on StemRenu, glucosamine, and Restore. Those are 3 of our products. A year later, they've taken x-rays of his back, and his back is rejuvenated.
Wonderful.
It's incredible what's happened to him. I was in April with them doing a European tour, and it was amazing the changes in the man. And he has physical proof.
That is amazing.
Well, there's some great information there, Sherry. There's lots to think about there, and we've all learned a lot tonight, Joe. That's fascinating.
Yeah.
It really intrigues me. I love health. I love learning about the human body. Anything in the medical realm, it just fascinates, intrigues me. So I love to learn everything I can.
But we're in a society that have these programmed beliefs. So for example, Dr. Carolyn Leaf, all those beliefs that people had about mental illness and everything that's going on in the mind and the hypothalamus and the amygdala and all that stuff, she has it broken down to the science now, right? And the brain imaging. So it's our beliefs about what we're told about health that prevent us from helping us heal, right?
I agree.
Because the whole medical system is all about fixing rather than preventing, right? So I'll give you a great example. Another analogy is I was dealing with a group, a team of ours, and a few of the women in there having some major challenges, right? And the reason why they're having major challenges, 4 months ago, they made specific decisions that in hindsight they wouldn't have done. But I told them this is what happened. So the last 3 months, all their energy has been to fix the consequences of those decisions. Mm-hmm. So all the 3 months of energy have been there to fix what they made in terms of the decision. So this is what we do as human beings, is when we make decisions, the consequences are already laid out to us. So we spend all our time trying to fix all the consequences from those decisions. And we could have prevented it from making the right decision and letting everything flow. And this is what we do with our health.
Mm-hmm.
If we get into this habitual thinking, the negativity, you know how many times people called me today, North Korea is going to bomb the U.S., right?
Right.
I go, where are you getting this here, right? This is the way we think. So this kind of thinking gets people sick. So that affects the consequences, right?
The victim mindset is the most destructive mindset. You know, with your health, with your life, with your mental health, physical, it doesn't matter what it is. That is the most destructive. And I've seen it. I've witnessed it.
Correct. And we have now a product like StemRenu that the technology is just the beginning. The growth factor and peptide technology is going to blow us away. There's so much things that we can do with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be incredible. And
how does this compare to the injection of stem cells?
Yeah, so you're injecting stem cells into the body. So you're injecting unnatural stem cells from other people or wherever they're getting it into the body, right? Hoping the body takes it on, right?
Right.
So it's kind of like a kidney transplant. You take someone else's kidney into yours, and now you have to take all these drugs to prevent the body from rejecting it, right?
Exactly.
What it actually wakes up the communication, the proteins.
It's actually a better option than it sounds like.
Yeah, so it uses the body's natural, it helps the body with the natural healing process, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sherry,
so if you go on our training site, we have an incredible webinar with Dr. Chris and Tina explaining the product, how it works. On Saturday, they're going to do a little bit of a training on how to live longer, on health, and they're going to talk a little bit about the StemRenu and how that helps.
Okay.
So I'd get yourself on those on that information.
Yeah, Liz can put forward the link for that to you, Sherry, and you're very welcome to join that. It'll be fascinating.
I appreciate that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Are you happy, Sherry? Is there anything else you'd like to ask us while you're there, or?
I'm so encouraged. I think that's my biggest takeaway is I'm so encouraged, not only for myself, but for my son.
Yeah.
Because I'm always trying to find, the doctors just give him so many, he's with the Veterans Association, so they are pill pumpers. They just want to throw pills at him, and he's got so many medications that he takes. And it started when he was in his 20s. And that's what caused the brain injury, was that his doctor at the VA prescribed medications that should never have been taken together, and he almost died from it.
Gee.
And I had the experience of the same thing with our medical doctors here. That's what killed my dad, because they gave him medications that should not have been taken together. So I'm a strong advocate for health, and especially for my son, as I'm his caregiver. And I'm always looking for alternatives to those medications because they're deadly. And anything that I can do to help him. So this is very, very encouraging to me.
Well,
Right.
I'd say you found it, Sherry, and we'll look forward to hearing your story in the weeks to come. And we'll get Liz to invite you to our regular webinars. Gary and I do training webinars 2-3 nights a week. And we're sometimes very lucky, like this evening, to get the top man as our guest speaker. And Joe, I want to thank you very, very much indeed for your time. That was absolutely excellent.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Right, guys. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Bye.